It took humanity 2,000 years to go from the Roman Empire to the stars. A long, bloody 2,000-year climb through darkness and plague and ignorance. But what if I told you that was a mistake, a glitch in the timeline? What if was only supposed to take 200 years? The secret lies with one man, a forgotten genius in ancient Alexandria who invented the steam engine in the 1st century. The world saw his invention as a toy. But in a lost timeline, one queen saw it for what it was, the key to everything. This is the story of that world. A world where the Dark Ages never happened, where the Roman Empire never fell. A world where humanity reached an age of steam and industry, while the gods of Olympus were still being worshipped. You are about to witness the greatest civilization that never was. If you are ready to explore the lost timeline, subscribe now. The journey begins. In the 1st century, Alexandria was the undisputed center of the world. A city of scholars and sailors, where every great idea from every great civilization came to be tested. And it was here, amidst the scrolls and whispers of the great library, that a genius named Hero of Alexandria perfected a revolutionary device, the Aeolipile, the world's first steam engine. In our timeline, it was dismissed as a novelty, a toy, but in the timeline that was lost, it caught the eye of a queen who saw not a toy, but the seed of a new world. Cleopatra, with royal funding and the backing of the queen's sharp strategic mind, Hero's toy was transformed. Workshops in Alexandria began to hum with a new kind of power. The first whispers of revolution were not in the streets, but on the roads. Wagons that moved without beast or sail, a terrifying and awe-inspiring sight for the Roman soldiers who guarded the province. News of these Egyptian machines reached Rome, sparking a firestorm of debate in the Senate. Was this progress, or was it sacrilege? A disruption to the natural order of the world. But Cleopatra and Hero pushed forward in secret, their ambition fueled by the limitless potential of steam. They were no longer just improving the world. They were redesigning it. Hero's mind, once confined to theory, was now unleashed. He envisioned a world where the immense power of steam could lift any weight, power any machine, and reshape the landscape of human labor. The first steamships cut through the waters of the Mediterranean, direct challenge to the millennial tyranny of the winds. The world was suddenly becoming smaller. In the cities, this new technology became the ultimate luxury for the Roman elite, a symbol of status and progress. But for the working class, the gears of progress sounded like a death knell. A new, unfamiliar tension began to simmer in the streets of the ancient world. From the top of the great lighthouse, Cleopatra and Hero could see it all. They had planted the seeds of a new age. But they had no idea what kind of world would grow from them. The Romans were not philosophers like the Greeks. They were engineers, pragmatists. And when they saw the power of steam, they didn't see a novelty. They saw a weapon. The legendary Roman legion, already the most disciplined fighting force on Earth, was transformed into the world's first mechanized army. Their navy, once powered by slaves and sails, now became a fleet of ironclad behemoths, moving with a speed and power that defied the gods of the sea. The very frontiers of the empire were hardened, its forts transformed into industrial fortresses, powered by the tireless strength of steam. Rome was becoming invincible. This new power reshaped the cities. The famous aqueducts that carried water to Rome now carried the lifeblood of a new age. Steam, powering a city that never slept. For the first time in history, mass production became possible. Roman factories, powered by steam, began to churn out goods on a scale previously unimaginable. But this progress came at a cost. A strange, dark haze began to appear in the skies above the ancient cities, the first shadow of industrial pollution. The earth itself began to scar, as the empire's hunger for coal and iron became insatiable, fueling the relentless engine of its own growth. And so, when the barbarian hordes arrived at the gates of the empire, as they did in our timeline, they were not met by a declining, exhausted civilization. They were met by the terrible, disciplined power of a technologically superior Rome. The great invasions that shattered the Western Empire in our history became mere footnotes in theirs. The battles were swift, brutal, and decisive. And so, the year 476 AD comes and goes. There is no fall. There is no collapse. The Roman eagle, powered by fire and steam, does not crumble. It stands stronger, larger, and more powerful than ever before, ready to rule the world for another 1,000 years. By the year 1200 AD, in our timeline, Europe was a fractured patchwork of feudal kingdoms. But in the lost timeline, Rome was eternal, a gleaming global hyperpower. Knowledge was not lost and rediscovered. It simply continued to compound. In the great library's steam-powered analytical engines, the world's first computers solved problems that our timeline wouldn't even ask for another 700 years. Entertainment became a spectacle of engineering. The games at the Colosseum were fought on colossal moving sets, a breathtaking display of the empire's fusion of art and power. Technology, once the domain of geniuses, became a part of everyday life for the elite. Simple clockwork automatons served the wealthy, a quiet testament to a world without a dark age. This unending empire created a world without nations as we know them. No France, no England, no Germany. Only Rome and its vast, orderly provinces. It was a world where the great religious shifts of our Middle Ages were suppressed. Christianity remained a minor, controlled sect, never allowed to challenge the divine authority of the emperor and the ancient gods of Rome. And without the interruption of the Dark Ages, the flame of scientific discovery lit in Alexandria never flickered. It grew into a raging inferno of continuous innovation. But this perfect order came at a cost. The stability of the unending empire was maintained by an unchallengeable, technologically superior military. Dissent was crushed. Freedom was a luxury the eternal state could not afford. And what does an empire that has conquered the entire world do next? It looks up. In the observatories of Rome, powered by steam and polished brass, a new generation of philosopher-engineers began to sketch machines not for the earth, but for the heavens. Having mastered the seas and the land, the ultimate Roman ambition, its final, logical destiny, was to conquer the stars themselves. And so, in a secret workshop, on the edge of the world, the greatest minds of the eternal empire began to build its final and most audacious creation, a vessel to sail the great, dark ocean between the worlds. Having conquered the earth, the unending empire turned its gaze to the last unconquered territory, the heavens. The Colosseum, once a stage for death, became a cradle for a new kind of ambition. And so they launched, not with the cold precision of computers, but with the brute force of steam and the unshakable confidence of an empire that believed it was divine destiny. For the first time in history, a human vessel left the cradle of Earth, sailing on a dark, silent ocean towards a new world. The landing was a testament to Roman engineering and sheer nerve, a controlled descent powered by steam and courage. Then came the moment that would forever define this lost timeline. One small step for a man. One giant leap for the eternal empire. The Roman eagle, the symbol of its dominion over Earth, now stood on the moon, a silent declaration that Rome's power was no longer terrestrial. It was cosmic. And as they had always done, the Romans began to build, to impose their perfect, brutal order on the chaos of a new frontier. Nova Roma, a city of marble and glass on the barren plains of the moon, a permanent testament to a civilization that never knew a dark age. But looking back at the distant, beautiful Earth, what did this lunaut feel? The pride of a conqueror, or the profound loneliness of a god? And this is where the dream ends and our reality begins. The magnificent city on the moon dissolves into the broken, windswept ruins of the Roman Forum as it stands today. This is the echo of the lost timeline. A ghost of a world built on steam and marble, compared to our own, built on chaos, rebirth, and 1,000 years of darkness and light. It all came down to a single moment. A single invention, seen not as a toy, but as a key. A key that opened a door to a different universe, a different destiny. A world that was stolen from us, or a world we were lucky to have never known.